Healthy Nigerian swallow for weight loss, and I didn't buy this flour from any shop. I made it myself completely from scratch, starting from the raw grain. It keeps you full longer and is rich in fiber. Watch till the end because I will also show you a mistake I made and exactly how to avoid it. Hi my people, my name is Mo. Welcome back to the channel. What you are looking at right now is white Guinea corn, also called sorghum. There are two types of Guinea corn, white and red. I am using white Guinea corn for this recipe. You can use red Guinea corn if that is what you have. The process is exactly the same. I am using 2 congos of Guinea corn for this recipe. The first thing I did was picking out the dirt and stones from the grains. This particular bag is very neat. I got it from a trusted source, so there is not too much to remove. But always take a few minutes to go through your grains carefully before you do anything else. I will also be adding dried cassava to this recipe. The cassava acts as a binding agent in the flour, giving the swallow that stretchy, smooth consistency. I am using 1 congo of dried cassava. I will explain exactly why this ritual matters a little later in the video. I also picked out dirt from the cassava the same way I did for the Guinea corn. Even though the Guinea corn looks clean, I bought it from an open market and I could feel some dust on my hands while picking through it. So I am going to rinse it thoroughly before drying. I am rinsing in 2 batches because of the size of my bowl. You can do it once if you have a larger bowl. I rinse mine 4 times, pouring fresh water each time until the water runs completely clear. You may need more or fewer rinses depending on how dusty your grain is. The simple rule is keep rinsing until the water runs clear. If you are completely sure your grain is clean, you can skip this rinsing step entirely. After rinsing, I scoop the grain into a sieve placed over a bowl, again in 2 batches, to drain out every last drop of water. Do not rush this step. You want the grain as dry as possible before it goes out to sun dry, because excess water will slow down the drying process significantly and could cause the grain to ferment if left too long before drying. Let me share something interesting about this flour that your body may really appreciate. Guinea corn, also known as sorghum, is a nutritious whole grain commonly eaten in many parts of Africa. It is naturally gluten-free, which makes it a good option for people who avoid gluten. Guinea corn also contains a good amount of dietary fiber. In fact, a half-cup serving can provide a significant portion of your daily fiber needs. Fiber helps you feel full for long, slows digestion, and supports healthy digestion. Because sorghum is digested more slowly than many refined grains, it generally has a lower glycemic index than foods like white rice or regular garri. This means it releases energy more gradually instead of all at once. So in this video, I combine Guinea corn with a small amount of dried cassava to make the flour for the swallow. The result is a smooth, satisfying swallow that can be a great option for anyone trying to eat more whole grains or include more fiber in their meals. My people, if you are finding this video helpful, please tap that like button right now. It takes 1 second and it helps this video reach more people who need it. And if you are not yet subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. New recipes come every Wednesday and you do not want to miss them. Thank you. After draining, I spread the Guinea corn across 3 flat trays for sun drying. Spread your grain as thin and evenly as possible so that the sun touches every single grain. I then took everything outside to sun dry, including this cassava. The cassava from the market is dried, yes, but drying it again yourself guarantees that every last trace of moisture is completely gone before grinding. Moisture in your grain before grinding will ruin your flour. It may go bad within a short period. I sun-dried mine for 3 days and thank God it was Harmattan season because the sun was intense and consistent. Every few hours I would go outside and use my hands to respread the grain, turning it over so the sun could reach every part evenly. By the 3rd day, the grain was completely dry. Now is the time to grind. I pour both the Guinea corn and the cassava into a bowl to take to my local grinder. And my people, this is the mistake I promised to tell you about. I mixed the Guinea corn and cassava together before taking them to the grinder. Do not do this. I did not know at the time because this was my first time making this flour myself from scratch. My elder sister always made it and sent to me. What I later found out is that the Guinea corn takes significantly longer to grind than cassava. So the correct method is to grind the Guinea corn first, at least 2 rounds through the grinder before adding the cassava and grinding everything together again. This is to ensure that both are ground to the same fine texture. If you mix them before grinding, the cassava, which grinds faster, will be overly ground by the time the Guinea corn is properly done. Learn from my mistake, my people. Ground the Guinea corn first and add the cassava later. The flour came out hot from the grinder. Freshly ground flour always does. Once I got home, I opened it immediately, spread it wide with my hands to let the heat escape. Leave it open until it cools down completely before doing anything else. I left the flour to cool overnight, and by the next day it was completely cool and ready for sieving. Now here is why sieving matters. No matter how good your grinder is, there will always be some particles that did not grind as finely as the rest. Sieving removes those rough remnants and gives you a smooth, uniform flour that produces lump-free swallow. I sieve the flour through a fine mesh sieve, and I want you to see what I collected after sieving. You will see the rough remnants that did not pass through, and nothing goes to waste here. So I sieved the rough remnants a second time, pressing it through as much as possible. What was left after the second sieve is genuinely too coarse to use in swallow flour. After sieving, your Guinea corn flour is ready for your Guinea corn swallow. The ratio of Guinea corn to cassava in this flour is 2:1, like I said earlier, 2 congos of Guinea corn to 1 congo of cassava. And that ratio matters more than you might think. The cassava is your binding agent. It is what gives the swallow its stretch and its ability to hold together when you eat it. Without it, the swallow will still cook, but it will be more crumbling and may fall apart when you try to mold it. If you want a less stretchy swallow, simply reduce the cassava. You can go as low as half a congo for 2 congos of Guinea corn. If you love a stretchy, elastic swallow that pulls beautifully, keep it at the full 2:1 ratio. There is no wrong answer here. It is entirely down to your personal preference and the preference of whoever you are cooking for. Now, if cassava is not available to you, or if you simply do not like cassava, you can replace it with dried unripe plantain. Dried unripe plantain works exactly the same way as a binding agent, and it adds its own subtle flavor to the swallow. You can also make the swallow with Guinea corn flour only. No cassava, no plantain. It will still cook and it will still taste good. Now for the most satisfying part, making the swallow. I put water on the stove to boil. Once it was boiling, I scooped out some of the water and set it aside. I reduced the heat, then scooped the Guinea corn flour and began to pour it slowly into the pot of hot water while turning it continuously with my turning stick at the same time. My people, the pouring and turning was and turn continuously with the other hand from the very first moment the flour hits the water. This is what prevents lumps from forming. When I reached the consistency I wanted, I stopped adding flour. And here is something very important. Make your swallow slightly softer than you think you need because it firms up as it cools. If you make it too firm on the stove, it will be rock hard by the time it gets to the table. After turning it smooth, I scraped down the sides of the pot and turning stick. Then I added some of that hot water I set aside earlier. I used my spoon to poke holes through the swallow. This helps the heat penetrate evenly and cook it all the way through. Then I cover the pot and let it cook on low heat for about 7 minutes. If you cannot turn the swallow on the stove, you can take the pot off the heat and place it on the flat surface. It is much easier to turn when the pot is stable. Do what works for you and your space and your strength. Now let me tell you how the storage works. I mean the storage of the flour. Once your flour is sieved and completely cool, Transfer it into an airtight container or a clean dry bag and store it in a cool, dry place. If your environment is humid, store it in the fridge to prevent it from going stale. This flour can last up to 3 months in a cool, dry place and up to 6 months in the freezer. So you can make a large batch exactly like I did here and have your healthy Nigerian swallow flour ready whenever you need it. So 7 minutes later, I uncovered the pot and started turning again. My people, look at that. Smooth, lump-free, and holding together perfectly. This is exactly what we want. I turned it until it was completely smooth, then served it. Look at that swallow, smooth, stretchy, not scattering, made completely from scratch from raw grain, and it is one of the healthy Nigerian swallows you can eat for weight loss. You can enjoy this Guinea Corn Swallow with any Nigerian soup of your choice: ogbono soup, egusi, vegetable, efforiro, black soup, bitter leaf soup. Any soup works perfectly with this swallow, and I have recipes for all these soups right here on the channel. I have got you covered. Please check it out. My people, thank you for always showing up and watching. This video was special to me because I made every single thing you just watched from scratch. No shortcuts, just raw grain, patience, and 3 days of Harmattan sun. This is the kind of cooking I love to share with you. If this helped you, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone on a weight loss journey. Drop a comment and tell me 2 things. Where are you watching from? And will you try making your own swallow flour from scratch, or is that too much work? I want to know everything. If you are new here, please subscribe. New recipes every Wednesday. See you in the next one, my people.